Can I beat LEGO Star Wars The Complete Saga's original trilogy without dying? Short answer, no. When we played through the prequels, we died over 50 times and those levels were shorter and arguably easier. But we're gonna try anyway. Hey guys, and welcome back to Plasmatic Productions. My name is Plasmatic and we're gonna do a no-death challenge in LEGO Star Wars The Complete Saga. If in any situation my LEGO character breaks into pieces, I must restart the level. As I mentioned earlier, we did the prequel levels in an earlier video, so if you're interested, go check that out. It performed a lot better than I expected, and I'm incredibly grateful to each and every one of you who watched it. Let me know what video I should do next in the poll I put up in my community tab if you can. Alright, we've got 18 levels to do today. Without further ado, let's get into it. We kick things off with one of the most iconic, unskippable cutscenes of all time. I mean, I never thought of it this way, but isn't every movie just one long, unskippable cutscene? Or imagine if you were watching The Truman Show and Truman went to go see a movie. What would the appeal even be? Anyway, I can only imagine what it was like to see this huge Star Destroyer on the big screen back in 1977. My dad says there was really nothing like it and that we take all this new CGI stuff for granted. Honestly, I think he's right. Oh, I'm supposed to be commenting on the gameplay? Right, sorry, I got off track. We start the game as the iconic, beautiful Princess Leia, but she is far overshadowed by her companion, the far more iconic, far more beautiful Captain Antilles. I love how expressive his face is. Is it bad that I can't even remember if there were levers in the prequel era or not? Because I honestly can't think of one off the top of my head. I mean, I'm rather sick while I write this, but hey, past Plasmatic, why did you write that in? I'm not sick anymore. Oh, you want an excuse for any mistakes you make? Okay, that's fair. Okay, actually, I am still sick now as I record this, but that's not important. Anyway, Leia is our saving grace in this level with her auto-dodge and auto-aim, making it pretty hard for anyone to hit us. Apparently, Darth Vader's armor is blaster-proof, though. I looked it up for this video, and apparently his suit is made of some sort of Mandalorian iron. Huh, the things you learn while making these. I am a bit confused as to why Darth Vader just stands there looking at us while we make some explosives next to him and just blow them up. I'm also confused as to why he then runs away from us. I thought he was trying to capture us. I thought Darth Vader's favorite thing in Star Wars is to just walk through an explosion and have some cool fire effects half burning his suit. Oh, that's just in Rebels, Kenobi, Jedi Survivor, Revenge of the Sith, maybe not that one. We do just fine for a while and even use Leia's Jedi powers to make some flowers grow out of a windowsill. However, once we lose her and her auto-aim, we are left with Captain Antilles, R2, and C-3PO, and we are killed by a stormtrooper. Time to restart. On our next attempt, we do a much better job interrupting some stormtroopers in a bath and shoot our droids off in an escape pod to Tatooine. Just like in the last video, we have one death in the first level. Not a good start. I'm not gonna lie to you, I never liked this level. This challenge really didn't help my opinions of it either. Things start out alright with an albeit alternate universe version of the movie's events where Jawas steal both droids in the night, so Luke goes out to search for them alone, only to meet Old Ben. Also, I seem to have gotten a bit rusty on my blocking skills, so I get shot to death as Old Ben. The true bane of my existence in this level, and honestly in the rest of this challenge, isn't droidicas this time. Thank God we've left them in the past. Now we get infinitely spawning enemies that always get in the way while I'm trying to build some. Other than a couple embarrassing minutes where I try to figure out the puzzle on the outside of the sandcrawler, nothing happens until we reach Ben Kenobi's hut, where I get ambushed by a squad of stormtroopers and shot out of midair. On our third try, we get through without an issue, but golly, I am happy to be out of here. Too many close calls with those Tusken Raiders. You know, now seems as good a time as any to mention that I always replayed the prequel levels when I was younger. That's where most of my nostalgia is, honestly. I played these games back on the Wii, and the shorter levels and more lightsaber fights in the prequels made them higher on my to-do list. This means that I've maybe played these original Trilogy levels 5 or 6 times spread over the last 2 decades, so I'm a little behind when it comes to knowing these ones inside and out. Anyway, I get shot down to almost nothing as Old Ben again, but survive just enough to make it through the area where we have to build a big AT-ST. I'm not proud to say that it took me about 2 minutes to figure the whole thing out, and once I did, some stormtrooper strolls along as we all watch and takes it from us, using it to blow me to pieces. On my next try, I get shot to death in the next room. After having now spent 6 minutes building an AT-ST, I finally make it through to the cantina. Finally, here is proof that Han shot first. I went frame by frame, and since LEGO Star Wars is obviously canon, Greedo's torso falling away while his arms stay still is also canon. Ponda Baba's fate is a lot darker here too, with both of his arms falling off. Also, Ben's lightsaber looks weird here. Don't know why. Later, while chasing an Imperial spy, we get shot to death as Han. It happens again in the final boss fight, so that puts this level as the one with the most deaths so far. But after the last challenge, I'm not going to say that 4 deaths in a level is a lot. Not yet. We arrive at the... What is that? I mean, I know it's supposed to be the Death Star, but they do know it's supposed to be the first one, right? You know, the one without any holes in it? Anyway, after we land on the hangar, Han and Luke do the most blasphemous thing I've ever seen in my life. They threw away their helmets willingly. Han, Luke, do you know how much trouble those helmets are going to cause me in the coming levels? I mean, it wouldn't be the cause of my next death, which was done by my testing of whether or not the dark space ahead of me was a corridor or a chasm. It was the latter. Apart from a really unique part of the level where we play alongside an AI Obi-Wan who's actually helping, nothing of note happens until we get shot to death by a stormtrooper that I couldn't even see. And the next time I come through, I'm shot to death by a shadow trooper. I just gotta say, I'm really happy to see them here, not because they kill me, that part wasn't too fun, but just because it's nice to see legend stuff in a game like this. But they kill me again as I'm trying to put it on a helmet, so I take it all back. Despite reaching the detention block on my next run, I fail to grasp the task ahead of me and accidentally go out to a mini-kit minigame where you control the Death Star's turrets. Except the controls are so bad and I spend too much time up there trying to aim. Thinking that I'm in the wrong room, despite my Star Wars movie knowledge screaming otherwise, I retrace my steps all the way back to a couple rooms to pick up a helmet and end up in a double score room with an even bigger bathtub than we saw in the first level. After ending up in that turbo laser room one last time, I end up figuring out the puzzle and complete the level. So that was embarrassing. Why, oh why, did we need 2 levels on the Death Star? At least I do have fun testing out the reflective walls of the trash compactor. While I have a close call after jumping into a big crowd of stormtroopers, I don't die until after I struggle with this puzzle for 3.5 minutes. Yeah, I make it through the next couple of rooms okay, but fall victim to a stormtrooper as I try to put on a helmet. I managed to cut down by a minute on that puzzle this time, and while my helmet gets shot off 1, 2, 3 times, I don't die until I fall off the edge. You know, I was going to tally up the rest of the times that my helmet fell off, but I'm not feeling masochistic today. Today's a script writing day and a recording day, not a challenge doing day. Anyway, I get killed again in the hangar when I learn that Luke only has auto dodge when he feels like it. And the same proves true for Han. Anyway, we watch old Ben die for the last time and move on to something horrible. A vehicle level. You see, I thought that the vehicle levels in the original trilogy would be easier because I didn't recall any particularly horrible roadblocks like the laser fences in Bounty Hunter Pursuit, or everything about gunship cavalry. This was not true. I only died 4 times in this level, but it was only after being excessively careful. To be honest, there's not much to talk about in this level, so I'm just going to move on to Episode 5. Just so you know, this episode ranks 2nd below Episode 2 for most deaths. We're at 19 deaths here. We died 4 times each in every level, except for the first 2. Alright, let's move on. We just finished a vehicle level, so what do we do to reward ourselves? Jump into another one. Oops, just blew myself up. This is the original trilogy's version of gunship cavalry, but nowhere near as bad. I mean, I die here, here, and here, and while it's taxing on my enjoyment of life, it doesn't touch gunship cavalry. In fact, I doubt anything will, so if you're looking for something that's gonna truly take my soul, come back in the next video. As of writing this, the top 3 options in my community tab poll will likely do the trick. Those being LEGO Star Wars bonus levels, which includes things like the Pod Race and Gunship Cavalry Original, 100% of Star Wars, LEGO Star Wars, which will take me months to make and likely will be a 7-part series, or moving on to LEGO Indiana Jones, which I haven't played since I was 6, so those are all great options. Honestly, the LEGO romance between Han and Leia is pretty cute. I'm a sucker for romance tales, and I love seeing these two together, especially I was reading the Thrawn trilogy lately. I've got some of the bookstore. It was really nice. Warmed by the power of love, I don't feel the need to blow myself up in this explosion and navigate it successfully. What's harder to navigate is a blaster bolt to the abdomen. Yeah, let's try this again. At least I get to watch that cute cutscene again. We retrieve Goldenrod and head into this room full of boxes. While entering the pushing animation, I get shot by a turret. When we return, we use the turret for ourselves to take revenge. I get off of it to explore a corner, and this is the exact moment the snowtroopers decide to spawn in and end my life. Twice. It seems that love isn't enough to keep Leia warm as she decides to blow herself up alongside Han. Write Leia, it's cold outside in the comments if you want me to make a music video about this level with my singer buddies. If I get at least 5 comments mentioning it, I'll make it when winter rolls around. Oh, and I get shot to death one more time. Wow, we already have as many deaths in Episode 5 as we did in all of Episode 1 in just these first 2 levels. We get a whole of 35 seconds into this level before we get shot to pieces. Who thought that we needed 2 vehicle missions in one episode? Oh, this happens in Episode 6 too? Great, I'm screwed. Okay, so I don't think I get the luxury of saying anything quippy in this bit, so let's just run down the deaths. Okay, the second death, a TIE Fighter's blast grazes us. Number 3, I fly right into an explosion, like I see it and everything, and I just continue flying right into it. I go into the stomach of a giant slug to pick up the torpedoes in its gut, like twice. And finally, number 4, I get shot 2 seconds from the end of the level. I do it all over again, and we're done. I'm tired.
Deep in a bleak and dismal swamp, hidden in its murky waters, lies the headquarters of the most sinister villains of all time, the Legion of Doom.
Yeah, I feel like most of my references are geared towards an audience of people who grew up in the 70s and 80s. I honestly have no idea how old I am anymore. It feels like I've been playing this game for decades. I die from testing out whether or not Luke is supposed to make this jump. Twice, but I'm only counting the first one because I didn't restart between these. I was just trying to figure out what to do. So you want to know the worst thing about this level? Bats. When we eventually do this challenge on Lego Batman down the line, we'll probably have different opinions about bats, but for right now, they really, really suck. They're so small and hard to see, which makes aiming at them difficult, and they seem to be unblockable in their attacks. I'm not certain, but if anything, they give little to no indication that they're about to attack, which sucks, so they kill me. Twice. And then I died for missing a jump. I blame Yoda for weighing down on my back because he made me die again. And then I also died while falling off the rock I need to climb to get him on my back. Twice, but I literally didn't have time to restart between those deaths, so I'm counting it as 1. And finally I make it through to the next room and die to jumping into the swamp again. No Yoda to blame it on this time either. Yeah, I also did that twice, but it's the same deal as the first time, so in summation, we're at 7 deaths so far. If you're keeping count, this is already the level with the most deaths. I miss a jump at the entrance to the cave, and I get killed by bats again while I'm trying to use the Force. And finally, Yoda uses the Force to raise our X-Wing out of the swamp, and we can get the hell out of here. You know, I don't know why, but I am really getting tired of Episode 5. Also, like in the prequels, the plot of the LEGO games don't make any sense. Like, why are we going to Bespin? We don't even know that Han, Leia, and the gang are here. In fact, they're not even mentioned at all during this level. Anyway, we take out a bunch of stormtroopers and play as R2-D2 to play the Darth Vader boss fight. Wait, what? You know, it's not the strangest thing I've done in this challenge, so I then formally enjoy my inability to have any sort of depth perception, or voice words, and mess up when I miscalculate a jump. I don't think I actually died to any physical enemies in this level. I just do things like slip off the edge when the in-game cutscene starts. Oh, that's my bad. Vader does kill me here. Slices me good. I think this is the first time we've died to a lightsaber in this challenge. But apparently not the last. Ow. But that is the last death in this level, and we can finally move on to the last level in Episode 5.
Okay, let's start the rundown. The gang lands on Bespin to meet Superman. Lando Calrissian. Okay, I can't be the only one who sees it, right? Movie stuff happens, like Leia rejecting Lando and C-3PO getting stolen with no one seeming to notice or care. We discover that Darth Vader is waiting for us here, so Han's textures get reduced. We can now go chase Boba Fett for the next half an hour of footage. I die almost right off the bat because I think Boba's blaster takes 2 hearts as opposed to the normal 1. That is made apparent by the second and third times he kills me. However, the next time we get a little too courageous in our pursuit and get shot to death by a stormtrooper. Thank God there's no boss fight with Boba's starship in this game, so we avoid dying there, but we do fall victim to those god-darn helmet dispensers. Well, technically the stormtrooper is the one who shot us, but does that really matter? It's the dispenser's fault. Don't worry, they kill us on their own too. I then cheese as much of the level as possible with 3PO, but this backfires when I realize I forgot to turn off the deadly gas. Oh yeah, remember my lack of depth perception? Or how much I hate stormtroopers? One more time. And one more time. And what was that? We finally made it? I cannot properly express my relief, so just take my sarcastic voice and insert relieved voice here. Just one more episode to go and we'll finish the challenge.
You know what they say. You get through 5 episodes of a LEGO game no death challenge, and the game rewards you with one of the easiest episodes yet to reward you for... Yeah, no. A warning in advance, this is the worst one. By far. There was once a day that I had sanity. That day was not today. We start things off trying to sneak into Jabba's palace to sell our friend to him, and making sure that Jabba will appreciate our kindness, we destroy his wacky door blasters and half of his Gamorreans. Gamorreans. Although they infinitely spawn, so who really knows how many there are. But wait, that thing I was saying about sneaking into Jabba's palace to do the movie stuff doesn't actually happen in this game. Nah, instead it's some confusing thing where we're basically breaking in and Luke is already there and C-3PO and R2-D2 are captured in some thingy-doos. Remember the part of the movie where Luke stood on arrows on the floor to make a machine move that... You know, I can't even do it. Let's just skip to the deaths. We make it so far in the level, only to be killed by a Gamorrean. Yeah. We then reach a new landmark in this challenge, being killed at a point earlier than we were last time. Again, due to the combination of a helmet dispenser and infinitely spawning enemies. This level is really just pushing both of my buttons. Leia then makes me really want to make that music video, "Oh Leia, it's cold outside," when she decides to blow herself up again. She then jumps in a hole. Unlike our channel's last to leave hole challenge, this ends quite quickly. While pulling a lever as Luke, I am bludgeoned to death by a When I'm 2 seconds from saving Han, the same thing happens again. However, we somehow get through the entire Rancor boss fight without dying once, which is impressive for me because I did not remember that this fight existed, nor how to do it, so I spent more time than I cared to admit just jumping around trying to figure out what to do. Oh, the great pit of Carkoon. All the way back in episode 4, I think I mentioned that infinitely spawning enemies would be our doom. If the last level wasn't proof enough, this one might be. Combine that with Boba Fett, and this level is a heck of a lot of trouble. I spend some time getting shot to death here, and here, but don't worry, I also fall off the edge, here, and here. I make it through the inside of the sail barge with no problem, other than casually wondering why the door mechanism is linked to a disco floor. And also how Jabba has a disco floor, but I'm honestly not too surprised. Unfortunately, we do not get to kill Jabba ourselves, but instead get a long rooftop puzzle sequence. I die up here 3 times, once while switching characters, and twice to I finally get to the main gun so I can blow up the ship, only to realize that I forgot to do half the puzzle, and have to go all the way back down to do it. Finally, I can blow this thing up and leave Jabba and the green pig people forever. Each level in this episode really feels like an accomplishment and a challenge in and of itself. So remember all the way back in 5.1, aka Hoth Battle, when I said that was the original trilogy's version of Gunship Cavalry? Yeah, so I was wrong. Well, technically that level is the most similar gameplay-wise, what with all the towing of bombs and stuff, but in terms of soul-taking, Speed or Showdown is the most comparable. Also, brief note that the reason I messed up my comparison back then is because I filmed, scripted, and recorded episodes 4 and 5 before I started anything on 6 because I had to clear up space on my computer. Okay, you know what, there are too many deaths here to really go over, so I'm going to cop out and do a song just like last time. So, enjoy. 1. Crashed into a tree. 2. Shot by turret. 3. Shot by an ats. 4. Shot by a turret. 5. Shot by a speeder. 6. Crashed into a tree. 7. A tree again. 8. I just grazed it, I swear. 9. Shot by a stormtrooper. 10. Another tree. 11. I don't like wood. 12. Another stormtrooper. 13. Threw my speeder into a pit, jumped off, then fell into the pit, or caught in the explosion. I don't know, I don't get paid enough for this, so let's go on.
14, an exploding tree. 15, shot by stormtrooper. 16, shot by turret. 17, crashed into a tree. 18, we've surpassed gunship cavalry, so that's something. 19, crashed into a tree. 20, you tired of hearing me say tree? 21, well here it is again, I crashed into a tree. 22, shot by an at. 23, yay, another at. 24, this at-hat's good at aiming. 25, nope. Number 25. No 25. Not that I can really be proud of this. Wow. This took... I don't even want to say that number. Let's just say that this level was frustrating in every way possible. At least there weren't any infinitely spawning enemies. Best not to dwell on it. In fact, let me sing the level's praises for a moment. And not actually sing, just talking my regular voice. It's an expression. It's a very unique concept in this game, this level, with the switching from foot to speeder to ats to back again. You know, and we get to have a boss fight with the AT-AT and even control it for a bit. So it's cool, but inevitably tedious. I recently watched all the Karate Kid movies for the first time, so I am trying to keep my cool. Going into this, I pretty much entirely forgot that this level existed. Maybe it's because I always think of the version of this level from LEGO Star Wars The Force Awakens or something like that, but anyway, we start out in Ewok Village, which is a pleasant surprise as there are obviously no enemies that can kill us here. Huh? Would you look at that? Where do these guys keep coming from? Oh, come on. Okay, honestly, other than my mishaps here, this level goes quite smoothly. I finally discovered where the stormtroopers were coming from, made them fall to their deaths, and proceeded to march through the forest in what I think is one of the biggest parties you get in this game. We catapult some rocks around her, and I get more confused than I care to admit in the bunker, but we make it out with only those first 3 deaths. Since they were also all at the beginning of the level, this really wasn't that bad, which makes for a very nice sequel coming off the heels of that last level. Now, here we get to the final boss of the game, Emperor Palpatine with 18 hearts? I don't think I ever counted them before. Now, this level I remember because my brother and I would play this one a lot when we were younger. Typically, I would be Luke and he would be Darth Vader, and while we would fight the Emperor, we would spend a lot of time killing each other. Anyway, this level is one of the most frustrating enemy types in the game, the Royal Guards. They're like the Gamorrean guards. Is it Gamorrean? Gamora? Is that they can block your attacks just like them, but they attack much faster. They get the better of me here, but what gets the best of me next time is Palpatine's electrified disco floor as I jump into the air near enough for it to zap me. I honestly had no idea what had killed me until I was editing and went frame by frame. The electricity was only there for 1 second, so I don't know, strange. I thought I was like dying from using the force and the thing on the wall, but I then learned that force lightning does more than just keep you from attacking while you wait for your brother to get around to hitting the boss. I honestly had no idea it could kill you in a boss fight. I then get split like a piñata one last time before we face down Palpatine and fulfill our destiny. Unlimited. Okay, one last level after this, and guess what? It's a vehicle level. How fitting that our final challenge be a vehicle level. It's time for us to put all of our knowledge and skill we've gained from this challenge to the test. We start things off in the Millennium Falcon as we single-handedly destroy some Star Destroyers. The fish dance a little too hard at our victory, and we decide it's time to enter the Death Star. We fly into the most convenient hole that happens to lead to the core, and, pretend I didn't phrase it like that, but we fly in and promptly crash into the wall. Fortunately, the next time we die, it is not necessarily only due to my own incompetence, as we are shot by a TIE Interceptor. The next time, the same thing happens, but it never seems like the shot makes contact. Like, we blow up, but it never quite hits, but I'm almost positive that's what killed me. We finally make it to the Death Star's core, only to be shot to death once more. Well, twice, because, that's my luck. And you guys have been here long enough to know that I'm going to die again. But this time it's to an invisible wall, so that's great. And then I die again to getting grazed. Fortunately, I shoot up the reactor and start flying out of there as fast as I can. I shoot every obstacle in my way, and finally, I stop holding my breath. The second Death Star explodes. And our challenge is over. This 2-part challenge series has taken over a month to film, script, edit, and produce. And I want to thank once more each and every one of you who watched this video. Before I get to the results, I want to really encourage you guys to like this video, subscribe to the channel, as it really helps us out in the algorithm a ton. If you didn't like it, and are for some reason still watching at this point, let me know why in the comments section, and I'll be happy to hear out your concerns. We strive to improve here at Plasmatic Productions, and we only want you guys to have a good time.
Anything that's getting in the way of that is not our intention, and we will do our best to rectify it. Alright, anyway, on to what you guys are really here for, the results. First off, let's do the stats from just this half of the challenge. The easiest level was the first one, Secret Plans, with only 1 death. The level with the most deaths is obviously Speeder Showdown with 24 deaths, but the runner-up is 5.6, Betrayal over Bespin. In the original trilogy, all of this adds up to 114 deaths. Wow. I've devoted time of my life to this. I should have been writing my college apps or something like that. Now, for all 6 episodes combined from the last video into this one, all the easiest levels came from the first part with 0 deaths in 1.3 Escape from Naboo, 1.4 Mos Espa Padres, 2.6 Count Dooku, 3.3 General Grievous, 3.5 Ruin of the Jedi. For the level with the most deaths, in third place is Betrayal over Bespin at 11 deaths. The runner-up is Gunship Cavalry with 17 deaths, but nothing touches Speeder Showdown at 24 deaths. The episodes ranked by deaths from least to greatest goes as follows. The Phantom Menace with 10 deaths, Revenge of the Sith with 15 deaths, A New Hope with 19 deaths, Attack of the Clones with 32, The Empire Strikes Back with 39, and finally, Return of the Jedi with a whopping 56 deaths. In total, we died 171 times in this challenge. So to answer the question, can I beat LEGO Star Wars The Complete Saga without dying? Fuck no.